So at the beginning of it, did you think that it's very valuable, or do you think that
The MBA or the brand of the business? Yeah, I think the MBA is always valuable. I mean, I think an MBA is a very good degree, mostly because it gives you flexibility also. It's very different to say, I studied a specific subject. The advantage of the MBA is that you can go to 5 different job possibilities. And that is the advantage of an MBA, that it's generic. So you can go to finance, or you can go into human resources, or you can go into marketing, and it looks like you know what you're talking about. But the branding is very, very important. And the third thing, from my point of view, that is critical, and then I'll pass it on to Tali, is internationalism. Moving from one country to another is a major asset, because the world is becoming more and more global. In every single market, if you're in Israel and you're an Israeli and you said, and I worked in Spain for 3 years, your value is much larger than somebody who did exactly the same job and said, and I did it in Tel Aviv. It doesn't mean that you can transfer from Spain to Israel if you're Spanish or want to, but that's a different story. But within every market, people are looking more and more, even in the United States. I remember when I worked in New York, and one of the people that worked for me, we said, we had a meeting, we said, let's travel. He said, but I don't have a passport. I said, well, what do you mean you don't have a passport? He said, well, I don't know, I never left the United States in my life. I mean, she was in her late 40s. She went to vacations in California or in Miami, and so the internationalism is key to the success of your career. Yes.
Yeah, but it is key. But I mean, you know, we are moving very fast, and we all sitting here in the same room. We all peers, and we all have internet. We all have the same, more or less the same background, international background. It's soon that's not an edge anymore. You know, you have to look for something else.
Well, I think the combination. First of all, you will find in your own country that there is a minority of people who have international experience in almost every country. That's why I gave the example of the United States, because when you think of Israel, you think, oh, sure, it's a small country, of course. But you think of the United States, you think it's a lot of businesses. Most people have never worked. Have never left.
I'm not competing, but I mean, that's not my peer. I'm looking at my peer group.
Within your country?
Yeah, or not only necessarily my country, I mean, within my space. I mean, so...
The more international experience you will have, the more you will increase your brand value. The more you work in companies that have a brand value in and of themselves, it will feed you. So it creates a multiplier within that.
But do you mean that in 10 years, everyone's going to be international?
Yeah, I mean, soon, today, if you come to... Okay, it depends where you're looking for and where you're aiming at, but I mean, it's not an edge today to have, like, you know, an international degree with worked a few years there and know a few languages. You know, it's like maybe you need to even diversify more into a specific...
Well, first of all, in my experience, it is an edge. So even when you look at relatively senior people, there are not a lot of people who have, maybe you got a degree somewhere, and you get a degree from INSEAD, that's nice, or from Tel Aviv, or from Harvard, or wherever, that's important. But when you get to work, people usually work within the same country. And people usually work within the same company. So if you move, and if you move geographically, if you move companies, if you work functions, meaning you've worked in finance, then you worked in manufacturing, the more you diversify on any one of these dimensions, you're right, one dimension is not enough. But the more you diversify on those dimensions, the more you increase your value, and it's a multiplier compared to somebody else who worked in the same country, in the same company, in the same function, has the same experience, so did exactly the same jobs. The value is multiplied when you diversify.
Also, I think, you have to think about what's your unique. I mean, you might feel like you're the only, like everyone's doing what you're doing, but not everyone's doing what you're doing. This is a unique program, or this, you know, there's international MBA programs, and not everyone's doing them, and those that are, they're small. So I think that you have to, you know, really identify your unique value proposition also, and be able to say, these are what I have now, and you're going to diversify those assets that you have as you move forward. But this is who you are. Be clear on what you have now that's going to be different than other people.